the staggering amount.
First at 10, a King 5 investigation. Suitcases of cash rolling through SeaTac Airport. It's caught the attention of counterterrorism investigators in Seattle. They have questions about where that money is coming from and where it's going. Chris Ingalls reports one of those terrorism investigators is breaking his silence, saying the federal government isn't doing enough to track the flow of this mysterious money.
Please use area 2 or 3.
Money, big money, is on the move on commercial flights from SeaTac Airport.
And any currencies over $10,000.
When asked that standard question by customs officers, the couriers aren't hiding it. They report that their suitcases are filled with cash, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars.
It's not against the law. You could travel out of the United States with as much money as you choose to, as long as you declare it.
The amount, the staggering amount.
Veteran Seattle terrorism investigator Glenn Kearns started getting reports early last year. In the first one, a man told Customs he was transporting $790,000 in cash overseas. Then it was $750,000, followed by 2 shipments of $1 million each on one plane. Before year's end, a suitcase with $2 million came through customs checkpoints at SeaTac.
Of course, with our concern being counterterrorism, how much of that money is going to support terrorism?
Kearns asked that question because of where that money was going and where it was coming from. It was shipped by Seattle area hawalas. Hawalas, the Arabic word for transfer, are typically in nondescript buildings around Seattle. They're like a Western Union in the Arab world, an informal money transfer service that is common in Muslim countries.
One hawala, Somali hawala, sent out $20 million last year.
Hawalas that served war-ravaged Somalia have been under intense scrutiny by the federal government since 9/11. Immigrants in the state send their loved ones hundreds of millions of dollars each year. Pressured by the feds, banks have one by one shut down their accounts with Somali hawalas, worried that they could be liable if money ends up in the wrong hands.
We have Al-Shabaab, which has been designated a terrorist organization, and our concern is how much money is going to them.
The cash started rolling through SeaTac a year ago when the last American bank, Merchants, shut down money transfers to Somalia. Hawalas now use couriers to hand carry money that can no longer be wired overseas.
It's very important. The money, it's like for terrorism, follow the money. That's the big thing.
Kearns is a Seattle police officer who retired last year after serving 14 years on the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force.
The #1 guy sent out $396,000.
Using financial records, he compiled this list of the 10 hawala clients who sent the most money in a one-year period, amounts ranging from $20,000 to nearly $400,000. Then he turned up something surprising.
All 10 of them were on welfare benefits, DSHS benefits.
People on public assistance were sending large sums of money overseas. And what does that tell you?
It's fraud, straight up fraud.
Delivering money is one of the biggest, challenges people face.
It's one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Somali activist Hassan Dees says investigators may be jumping to conclusions. He says it's common for East Africans to pool their money to send overseas, even though that money may be sent in the name of one person.
You will be able.
And he says Somalis feel like they're being targeted by banks and law enforcement.
So if they have a specific issue with one person, that doesn't mean it affects all the community.
We, the people that live here in America, are sending money back home to people who are suffering.
Ikran Abdullahi is grateful for the opportunity America gave her when she immigrated 25 years ago.
Food, clothes.
In Somalia, where war, famine, and hopelessness abound, she credits the money she sends through hawala services for keeping her family there alive for as little as $50 a month.
My grandpa, my brother, my uncle, my cousins, they're all depending on me. So if that is cut, they'll all die.
That was $6 million, $6.1 million in 72 days.
Kearns took his case to the United States Attorney's Office last year, believing he had, at a minimum, a federal case for welfare fraud.
They don't want to touch it.
Why do you think that is?
My opinion, and I believe it's because it'll look like they're targeting a certain population.
U.S. permanent resident card holders.
There needs to be more accounting of who's sending out that money. Where is it coming from?
Sources in the United States Attorney's Office say there were holes in Kern's case, and that's why they didn't move forward. They say investigators needed to develop more information on specific targets and then come back to them. The bottom line is that this system of transferring money to Somalia, legitimate as it is in many cases, has been driven underground, and the current system isn't working for law enforcement, which can no longer track that money like it could with bank accounts. And it's not working for the local Somali community either. Lori, Mark, we have the 4th largest Somali community population in the U.S. here in Seattle, and they're fearful that this last means of sending money back to their homeland could be wiped out. So they're worried about what could be ahead here.